I just want to go over the style sheet.
No boy.
Okay, because I really don't want to do I don't want to do the editing of your footnotes and stuff. It's something you can do, so don't make me suffer. I have other things to do. Okay. The thing is, when I get started, I'll just do it myself. But it just takes a lot of my time. I don't know where the style sheet is. Oh yeah, I call it Classics of Middle Asia style sheet. You okay? Not sick?
It should be for our
Okay.
4117.
Cool.
Is this the 4117?
Maybe you haven't. Oh, it is. It's 4117. Yeah.
They need an editor. No, it's the benefit of an editor.
Yeah.
They actually impose the style sheet.
Okay. We're just gonna read over what you're supposed to read over on your own. Okay. Number one, error messages. Like, go through your translation. Let's take somebody's. Everybody's like, no. Let's take Allison. She won't mind.
Beautiful.
Sorry. No, error message means.
Spelling and grammar errors.
Yeah, your word processor should. Well, we don't have any because this is what I did.
Or it could be turned on. But it's probably
I'm sure we could manufacture.
Yeah. Anyway, there'll be a blue line. Just that's your job, okay? Go through.
Look.
There it is. It'll have blue lines under things that are suspicious in the English. This is the Tibetan, but so do that first. Don't make me do it, okay? And you'll find mistakes in your English, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing, always save the file name, like the one we just looked at. Okay, it's the name of your text, then it's the last person who worked on it, and there's the date in this format. Okay, American format. Okay. Then there's the font is this 1982 font Geshe Michael likes. Okay. Now look, there's a Palatino. That's not the same font. We use Palatino Linotype. Okay. Got it? Everybody say yes.
Yes.
Justification. And justification means it's equal on both sides, a straight line on both sides. You get that by clicking on this thing here. Okay, right? And see, it'll just make it even on both sides. Okay, that's the standard. This is the standard, by the way, for the version that's going into this series, the English equivalent of this series. Okay, so we want as many books as that. And I have this dream of Sugang trying to market it. We're trying to raise money for you guys. Some of the strategies are the Austrians who asked for karmic correlations. I'm going to ask them to pay extra so I can help to pay for the salaries of other translators, not just Seiji. And then, so that's my first strategy. Second strategy is squeeze your gentleman, Mr. Liu. Squeeze him harder. He paid for the first 2 terms, $50,000. You guys cost 25, 3 times 8. But now it's a little more, 3.3 times 9. So we'll squeeze him. And I won't ask you to squeeze him. I'll make a proposal, I'll send it to him, but I'll let you know when I send it. And I'll send you a copy when I send it. And you don't have to embarrass yourself, but you can squeeze a little bit too. And then we'll keep working on the contract with Dr. Wu. He wrote me recently with some Buddhist questions, which is a good sign. So that means he believes it's okay to be asking questions like that. So that's a good sign. And hopefully he'll be here in November. So yes.
Coming to Kamanashi.
I don't know. I think he said he's coming to this thing, or both.
Both.
Oh, he's coming to both. Kamala Shila in October, and this thing. But once in a while he changes. So I don't know, but it looks better. Things look better, and hopefully. Then Allison sent the Security Bureau letter yesterday. Okay. And if the reply is positive, then maybe things are okay. It could be the reply is negative and they say don't come to China anymore. In which case I'll move to Taipei. Just kidding. Not. Huh? Oh, Bali.
Yeah.
That's a tough decision between those two. You know. So anyway, so my vision is that we do one version of your book together. So then I edit your book, I bring it up to Roach standard, and then that goes into the series, and then maybe I don't work on it much after that, unless we find a mistake, unless somebody tells us there's a mistake. Then my dream is that you own the copyright after that. And you have to, if you want to update it, add stuff for the rest of your life, that's your business. And my dream is that you can put it out for the rest of your life. If we take a large amount of money from Dr. Wu by contract, he might require the rights to the Chinese. And he might require the rights to the Chinese in any country. But if you put out a different one, you know, if you add things to your book and then you want to translate that into Chinese and put that out, I think we could argue that that's okay. So my idea, you know, my lawyers are, who I've been working on this, I've spent like $10,000 with lawyers already. They're $1,200 an hour. It's 3 of them involved, and they think I'm crazy to give you the copyright. And they say, don't do that, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I'll ask you to sign an agreement that I can publish the first version in Sugang's series, if that happens. So I'll ask you to sign some kind of paper that says SCIM has the right to publish an edition of my book. Then for the rest of your life, you can keep adding stuff, changing stuff, publishing it on your own. So that's my dream, you know. That's what, because I think that's like the best way to make sure it'll keep going. You know, that our work will keep going. If you don't own your own book, then you'll kind of try to do something else. So
how can you keep it as a series if everyone's publishing their own?
I think the series should be the series, and then if you want to publish your own version of your own book later, that's a separate thing.
But what if it goes out of print and it won't be as a series anymore?
Oh, well,
If the series goes out of print?
Well, yeah, you said the first printing was the series, and then after that, they're on their own.
yeah,
So
if the first one goes out of print, it goes out of print. You know, but my experience in my life is that when you make a series, the series survives. You know, it's not like book number 7 is going to go out of print. We're going to try to sell the whole series to subscribers who pay a subscription fee every year, so you guys can have money for every year.
But if, for example, you had the series and then like she's got book number 7 or something.
Yeah, and she writes a new version of that. Right. It won't be part of the series. It'll be her.
The series will continue because what if you
yeah,
have
no, the series.
Book 7, then you have to figure
no,
out.
The book 7 will continue as it was.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You see,
okay.
But she's not constrained to to keep working on her book and developing it further. And my dream is that you all start writing like Diamond Cutter business books based on your book. So, you know, I believe every book being done in this room can be expanded into something to help people in relationships or health or economics or business, you know, but that's up to you. So my dream is to create a bunch of funguses, and then, you know, and then they spread on people's feet, you know, and, you know, so I don't want to hold back that process. I want to release that process. You know, if it happens that you update your book and maybe the board, which is all the translators, agrees that your new version is better than your old version, and you want it to be in this series, that's okay too. You know, that's up to you. Okay. But I'm thinking to plug a series like this, and what I'll do to make it more expensive is I'll throw in the DCI manuals and the ACI courses.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's automatically, I think so.
Series.
So that's already 36 plus 9. That's 45 books already. And everybody's asking me, with DCI and with ACI, it's 45 books already, if you don't include the practice manuals. So it's probably 50 books are already ready. You see?
No.
Yeah. I mean, Tantra's in here, right?
So if you
Maybe it could be an extra charge, and you don't get it unless you have an initiation or something. But I'm also interested in my work going on. So if it's part of a series, it will. And everything in the ACI is not, I didn't write any of it except for the Boy Scout code thing. And 1 page. Out of 15,000 pages or something, I wrote 1 page as a joke. And you know, and the DCI courses are mostly, as you know, from other sources. So, you know, anyway, that's my dream. But to me, it all has to be the same standard. The format especially has to be the same standard. And I don't want to have to work on it. It's something you can do, okay? It's something, if you just take the time and look what I did, you can do it. It just has to look like what I did. So I'm just going to repeat all that. And the header is, this is at the top of the page. You get that, so I'm teaching you something about how to do it. You double click in the top area of the page, like this. Okay? Then you go to home. And, you know, Utpala can help you because she knows all this stuff. And then, I don't know, I like 10-point bold. Okay, so 10-point. You gotta say Palatino linotype.
You know, we might as well make our style sheet be in style.
Yeah, it's a style sheet.
We can publish a style sheet.
And then you hit escape. Okay, and it'll stay on every page.
Cool.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So your style sheet is meant for A4 size.
It can be any size.
And layout will.
I want to do 8.5 by 11 right now because we're working in the United States. But if you want A4 in China, that's okay. I don't care.
What I mean is later when we publish the book, it may not be.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it'll change. It'll change. That's partly her problem. Okay. I see him as a salesman, especially the Chinese version. I don't think there won't be big sales in the United States. You know, Americans just want Trump, and they deserve it. Page numbers. You know, you go to insert, you hit page numbers wherever that is here. Then you have to say center. Okay, it's preset to write. Then hit center. Okay, and you can show the first. When you click show number on first page, it will show the header on the first page also. If you don't want a page number, if you don't want a header on the first page, you have to turn this off. Okay, and then there won't be a header on the first page, and it looks nicer. You see what I mean? If you don't want a header on the first page, turn off the page number for the first page. And then you won't get a page number on the first page, but you'll get a page number on the second page.
You can do them in the.
If you're really nice, if you're really cool, you can change this page number to Palatino. Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, was that Palatino linotype?
Yeah. Okay. Now the page number font fits the manuscript. Okay. Okay. Extra points. Anything I don't have to do, I'll probably kiss you. Punctuation, always put 2 spaces after a period. There's 2 different standards. I want 2 spaces after a period. I don't care. Colon, how many spaces?
1.
Semicolon?
1.
Comma?
1.
Period?
2.
Okay. After colon, 1 space. Okay. I should have written that. So here's the copyright information. You all did this, okay. Okay. Then I encourage you to put something here that allows people to copy stuff out of your work, okay? And that's a decision you can make, okay? How much do you allow other people to copy your work, okay?
Usually, how much?
Huh?
Usually, what do you do? How much?
Oh, I'm happy if a person wants to take my work, it's fine. I'm happy with it. The only thing I ask people is, if you change it, take my name off. Or put my name on and say I changed it. This is Geshe Michael stuff, but I have put in the wrong commas and quotation marks.
Single spaced after periods.
I've messed with him. The volume numbers might change, okay? I'm not trying to put them out in order. I'm not even trying. That's another story. And then Diamond Cutter Press, who will print it in the United States, okay? Which is Katie's in charge of that, okay? And Jigme's on the board, and I'm on the board. I'm also working with my lawyers to create a literary trust for my works, so that if my plane falls down on the way to Kaohsiung, there'll already be instructions on how to handle all my copyrights and stuff like that, okay? So I'm working on that. And I spent a lot of money on that already. But that requires making a list of every single book. We had to pay the lawyer to check with the Library of Congress that we are copyrighted properly on everything. And that costs a lot of money. And he's done with it. He's finished with it. So I'm paying that because that's my personal thing. But sometimes I have to tell him to stop for a while. Okay, original Tibetan and ACIP transcriptions, divide by section. When you do your English version, I think we'll take it out. I don't know. It depends who's it for. But normally, if I had put the Tibetans, say for example, in the Principal Teachings of Buddhism, the sales would have been 1/10. People don't like it. Most people don't like it. Okay, in a public sale book. What we put in this series, I don't know. I gotta think about it.
So when you say ACIP transcription divided by section, you mean the section numbers?
Yeah, section number. Yeah. Errors in the original Tibetan text. You put this kind of mark. Later, when it's all confirmed, you can take it out. You can take out the wrong one. But I want to check it. I don't want you to decide what's an error and what's not an error. Okay. And I'm just being a bitch about it. Okay. And I want it up to my standard. And if you don't like my standard, I won't spend my time on it. Okay. So that's fair, I think. If you're going to ask me to spend my hours when my hours are not so many, then you have to accept what in the end, I win all arguments. Yeah, question? No. And if you're sitting here, I assume you agree with that.
2 and 3, what are the differences?
3 means you're sure there's an error. 2 means you're sure there's an error. You feel sure there's an error. And 3 means you think there's an error. You smell there's an error, but you're not quite sure. Okay.
Check the scan. We should still not.
He has to check the scan.
I have to check it. Yeah. It's good if you can check the scan and tell me, I checked the scan, this is what it says. But I will normally only accept a woodblock scan. Okay. And even woodblocks have errors, but much fewer than computer printouts. Computer printouts, a normal error rate acceptable in an English book printed in the United States until the days of internet was 0. 0 or 1 or something like that in the whole book. I'm just telling you, I don't know what it is in China or I don't know what it is in Singapore, but that the standard in the United States in Phil and my time was maybe 1 error in the whole book, but normally none. And you would pay people to read it 3, 4, 5 times. The online books, there's a lot of errors. I think they're rushing authors now to get out book number 4 of this series, and the acceptable rate of error online is much higher than it used to be in print. But I would like our standard. I think should be the old standard. Put in section reference numbers. Don't put them in 12 point. Put them in 10 point. 12 point is what you put the text in. 10 point is what you put the section number in. Okay, it's smaller than 12 point. No, I've been through it. You don't know what I went through on this your first stuff.
Section
Okay.
numbers are the ones
Here,
in square
right
brackets.
here.
Yeah.
The bracket
Okay.
and the number
The
are
small
both
one.
in 10.
But the folio number is still.
We didn't
12.
get to that yet.
Oh.
We didn't get to that yet. So this is gonna be cool in 100 years. And it'll be like the Bible, chapter 3, verse 4. The Western Bible, the Christian Bible. I believe the story is there was a preacher on horseback in New England, in the eastern United States, 200 years ago, and he used to ride around on a horse and teach people the Bible. And then he decided to put numbers on each section, and those are now famous. People will say Mark 3, verse 17, and everybody knows what you're talking about. People will recite it. So I want to do the same with you guys. I want there to be a section number. Those are going to change until the last printing. They'll keep changing, we'll keep splitting, we'll keep unsplitting, we'll keep changing them, and that's okay. They'll be a little fluid, but at least I can say that's not in section 12. Okay.
Then why are you removing that?
Tony Obama, 12.
I'm sorry, what?
Why does it get removed from the English version?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we leave them in the printed English version, but it'll be a little distracting for the reader. Maybe we leave them in. Okay, or maybe we put them on the side in the margin. That's a little better, I think. It's not so distracting. Yeah, in the yellow in our series.
Oh, when it's printed.
Yeah, because otherwise it's a little cloying. What's cloying mean?
Too much.
Irritatingly something. Okay, it's a little irritating when you're trying to read a book and there's numbers in there. We got to think of the reader.
It helps the flow.
We have to think of the reader. Okay. The original manuscript page numbers are only in the Tibetan language section.
Right.
On the first time the number appears, you write out the word folio. You don't have to worry about that except Seiji, because he's the only one who's starting a new manuscript today. Then on subsequent occurrences, this, okay. The folio faces, you have to change the original input capitals and remove any initial zeros. So change O1 capital A to 1 lowercase a. Don't put the zeros. Okay, somebody started doing that with our input, and I don't remember when it happened, but anyway, it's been going on.
Actually, that is whoever's in charge of the style sheet. That should be changed to F period space 1A.
Yeah.
This right here?
Yeah, right.
You can do that.
No, that's what we
What
have.
you
Okay.
told us to do.
Yeah.
Well,
F.
yeah, that's okay. I'll accept that.
Then you might as well put the big.
But then you've got to put this. You see,
Yeah.
so,
Do you know-
so yeah. So no, I'm just gonna leave it like it is.
Yeah.
You understand? The thing above that says do this. Okay, got it?
Just try to
Don't
have
worry.
consistency.
Remove any other comments, etc., around the original folio number. So sometimes the input foil number will be like this. And just wipe that all out. Okay. I think definitely we're going to remove these page numbers from the English edition, because as things get digitalized, there'll be 12 editions of each of your text in the Tibetan, and they'll all have different page numbers. So you should, in the introduction, you should tell the reader which one you used, which edition you used. But it's up to you. I guess you could leave the page numbers in if you want. The Arts edition of Liberation in Our Hands, he left in the page numbers. It's extremely useful. So it's up to you guys. We can talk about that. Okay, footnotes. Word doesn't justify footnotes. You have to do it each time, as far as I can figure out. Okay.
Oh, it will justify footnotes.
You should. Microsoft Word doesn't. Don't add style sheet stuff. Okay? It blows up. When I send a sponsor 3 or 4 samples together, it blows up. Don't add style sheet stuff. This can all be done manually. Okay? It's a lot easier for me. 1 space after footnote number before footnote. Okay? Understood? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Go back to footnote and
Oh, I see.
Like 1 space.
even the one period.
Later layout.
What?
One period.
No, I don't think he's doing periods in the footnotes.
Yeah, yes.
There should be.
Well, I'll show you.
Without it, it's pretty.
This is the standard, okay? Like this, okay? You're putting a space here between the for and the.
No period.
Okay?
Superscript.
Got it?
Number. Superscripted number.
But that's automatic.
That's
Apple
automatic.
S.
What do you mean by
That's a
Um,
style.
Uh-oh.
Don't do styles.
No, it is
Do
a
not do
style.
styles.
It's like you're
6.
using a style right now.
I don't know what it is, but I haven't set any styles. They're preset. Whatever's preset, don't mess with me. Don't add stuff. Or you can do styles on your version and give me the unstyled version. Okay.
What we need actually is your copy of your
Word
normal
settings.
dot
Yeah,
DRT,
understand.
whatever. And then use
Tell
that.
me how to do that and I'll give it to you.
You
Okay.
can talk about
And by the way, it works for everybody except you. Whatever everyone else is doing, it works. Okay. Okay. So my footnote style. Okay, ready? Number, space, in italics. Take out the relevant phrase, and that's a chance for you to be creative. You can choose the relevant phrase and make it interesting. Don't say the. Okay, like you see what I mean? No, trust me, I've seen everything.
Now you added 3 there to be helpful.
No, it was in this line.
Oh,
You see?
I see it. Brilliant.
Okay,
Got it. It's good.
and then give your discussion, make it brief, make it accurate. Okay, I can't stand inaccurate footnotes. Okay, probably I'll charge you. Okay.
Like a bull.
And then I go and I get a real reference to confirm it, okay? And we'll talk about it. I give the ACIP catalog number, I give the folio number, and I give the bibliography entry number in my text. Now, to look at my bibliography for this translation,
Oh, I see.
here's the bibliography. And I separate books in Tibetan and books in Sanskrit. Books originally written in Sanskrit and books originally written in Tibetan. Okay, so I'll have originally written in Tibetan. And then these are the books written in Sanskrit, okay? And we're going to talk about the format of these bibliography entries. Now, I put them in the order that they occur in my text. When I finish the translation, I go back and put them in alphabetical order. Because you can't until you're done. Okay, so
English alphabet.
this is provisional. The S96 is provisional.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 728, by the way, just so you know.
Obviously, this is English alphabetical, not Tibetan or something.
Yeah, and then, English, yeah. And then, so this, I put a percentage sign here, and that, I put a percentage sign in my translations where I have to go back and change it later. then I search for all the percentage signs. Okay, sometimes use an @ sign. Okay.
This may be a stupid question, but do we need a standard for like, you know, sha and sha, like what order they go in? Like, because they're both S, right? One's got a dot in one place and one's got a line in the other place.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Probably we do need a standard. So I'm going to run out of time. I guess we'll have to do this another day.
On the footnotes, do you always put the superscript that's in the text after the period at the end of the sentence? It doesn't go.
No.
Oh, it goes
anywhere.
Three magnificent innovators from this region. Would you?
Well, I'll show you. Let's find one that. Sorry, this is somebody else's text. Well, that's a. You prefer. Here's one after a semicolon.
Okay.
Or it could be in the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You prefer after a semicolon or after these. By the way, you can do this and you'll see the whole footnote somehow. It's kind of cool.
Wow.
Wow.
But I really want you to. You see, this is a direct quotation from another book about the 4 great languages of India. You see what I mean? So that's a footnote. And then Venerable G check means, you know, she's going to, I put notes in there with, I use an ampersand, @ sign,
@ sign. Yeah.
to notes to myself, like things I have to go back and check later. Do as few as you can, because you will not have time later. Don't think you're going to have more time later. Resolve questions immediately if you can. I didn't have a scan, so I had to ask her to go find a scan.
I don't think you ever asked.
No, I didn't ask you.
To reinforce his
Uh,
point. Right.
Yeah, this was done about 3 years ago. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
If you put those that known to yourself, do we need to make some marks so later we know where we put those things? Or
That's this mark here. That's this @ sign.
so I just search for @
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, at the end of your translation, you know, I'll show you. I'll go look for @ signs. You see, I've got a note to myself here. You know, I had a problem with a certain footnote and stuff like that. This shouldn't be there. And these are going to change. The table of contents numbers are going to change. So I made notes. But see, I already start constructing the table. These are my own headers. I'm just summarizing my own headers, you see. And I keep those up to date pretty much. Personally, I also like to run an outline of the traditional outline. So far in a quarter of Gombar Upsal, he has quoted 100 and something Sanskrit books.
Dura time.
Okay, but I keep the traditional outline going. You see what I mean? And this is where I am. This is where I stopped on it. This is where I am on the translation. This is where he's promising more later, but he hasn't got to it yet.
Wow.
That way, when he says number 3, I can go down to here and see what's number 3. You see what I mean?
Oh, that's brilliant.
And this is just based on what he writes right into
Oh,
the
man,
text.
I
He
got
didn't
the-
make a
that's-
separate outline.
That's cool.
This is his outline.
Oh, so he didn't
That's
make
cool.
Yeah, he'll say first, second, has 4 divisions.
And so when you see
but
him,
it's just in the text and you're pulling it out. And making
Yeah, and I'm making a separate outline.
whenever you see him say this is going to have this many parts and this is what they'll be, you just
Yeah.
go to the end and
Wow.
put them in.
Yeah, and then when I get to section 3, I know what the heck I don't have to go looking for section 3. You see what I mean?
That just reeks of
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. You got a witch.
You put this in a appendix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it to put in the appendix because, like with the Lamrim Chemo, people memorize.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's called the Sapje.
Yeah.
It's long. See how long it is?
Art put one in the Liberation.
Yeah, he did.
Really helpful.
Yeah. I edited that.
And if you're
I think it's a lot.
Are you going to leave that in the book or just for
I'm going to leave it in the
temporary?
book.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So then it's standard.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about it more. I don't know. Do I have expostulation time again?
Yeah.
tonight?
No.
No.
No. Today's the last one.
Oh, well, I'm just trying to get you to pay attention to this style sheet. I don't think you'd need me to explain every single thing. But I will. I should have been expostulating about it, but I'll do it next time.
We'll try to support each other on this also.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not sure how to do something, you can definitely help each other.
Right.
But please, please, please don't make me do
You
it.
have a half hour tomorrow.
Okay, good. We'll finish this tomorrow. Okay?
Oh, that's nice.
We'll finish this tomorrow. And it's a standard. What's a standard mean? A standard means you may not agree with me, but I keep doing it the same way every time. Okay? That's a standard. Okay? So I don't care if some scholar doesn't agree with how we do it, but I do care if we don't stay consistent within our own series. You see? Standard means do the same thing every time. And then it's okay. In transcription, pronunciation, we are the first people to do the same thing every time that I'm aware of. Okay? But I don't read a lot of translations because they frustrate me. Okay, here we go. Back to Dura.